Parashat Chaya Sarah. This very fascinating portion of the Bible is divided largely into two chapters. Chapter 23, the acquisition of a burial plot for Sarah, the matriarch of the Jewish people. Chapter 24, the acquisition of a wife, a suitable wife for Yitzchak. This is very critical. And the second chapter follows the first. Sarah has died. She requires a burial place, a kever. But kever is the Hebrew word which is used by the Talmudic authorities also for a womb. Because the dead is parent to the living within the Jewish tradition. It has to be a wife for Yitzchak who will in effect be a continuator of the ideals of his mother Sarah. This is a critically important decision. We mentioned previously that it was very clear to Abraham that whatever he was, whatever he became, whatever legacy of a newfound faith he had discovered, all of that was dependent upon the wife of his heir. She would either make the possibility of giving over this legacy to the next generation and generations possible, or God forbid, she would stymie that possibility. So this is critically important. Abraham obviously believes that he's too old to take upon it himself. He chooses someone else, the steward of his household, Eliezer, the Damascus. And here, there's something very fascinating. It's clear that the woman cannot be a Canaanite. For many reasons. The Canaanites were a bad nation, or bad nations. And they would live in the land of Canaan. And it was important that her family be very far removed from where they lived. She would have to become part of the Abrahamic family. But the most important thing, how do you choose the right woman? What are the characteristics that she has to have? And Abraham gives this task to Eliezer. I often think he doesn't take it upon himself because Sarah is no longer with him. He relied very heavily upon Sarah. After Sarah's death, he doesn't do anything of significance. After Sarah's death, he even doesn't have a meaningful conversation with God anymore. And although he's still of vigor and strength, and he marries again, and he has more children, it's not the same Abraham. But what is most important about this portion is that Eliezer is never once mentioned by name. We know who he is. He was the steward of the household. We met him before. But from the moment that Abraham makes him swear that he will find the right wife, and he must bring the wife back to the Abrahamic house, that is where the young couple must live. From that moment on, he is not named. He is Ha'eved, the servant, when he appears together with Abraham and in relationship to Abraham. Or he is Ha'ish, the person or personage of importance, vis-a-vis the ancestral family in Haran, in Syria, Rebecca's family. But he's never named. And I want to make a point as clearly as I can. He is the anonymous hero of this entire portion. He is the one who tells us exactly what's the major characteristic for a matriarch of Israel. She has to be generous. She has to be giving. She has to be sensitive and caring. And that woman who will offer drinks, and taking water from the well was not an easy task in those days. But not only to Eliezer himself, but to his animals as well, and provide for them. That's the kind of person that would be a suitable wife for Yitzchak. And he carries out his agency without in any way caring about himself. There's a very perceptive midrash that says that he was hopeful that his daughter would be married to Abraham's son. This was a disappointing agency for him. But he doesn't care about himself. That's what a shaliach is all about. A shaliach, a true agent, puts his own needs last. So his name doesn't even appear. It has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with the task of his finding the right soulmate, the right life's mate for the son of Abraham, for the individual who will ultimately be one of the patriarchs of Israel. He does a magnificent job. And he does a magnificent job specifically because it was not about him. He remained anonymous. He understood that the calling was greater than the person. And he's one of the true heroes, of the many heroes who walk the pages of our Bible. Shabbat Shalom.